And welcome everyone to Monster Vision. My name's John English, your host, and we've got a full house and a lot to get to here on this edition of Monster Vision. Got the whole crew joining me here just about. James Carr, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking, John.
Brian Rivera, how are you?
John, I'm great. Thanks for having me.
And Kala Mullaney, good to see you as well.
Yep, doing great. Nice to see you all.
So we wanted to gather the group here because there's been a lot of news in the USPHL, specifically in the Pacific Division. There's been a team move. The Anaheim Avalanche have moved up the road. They're now the Long Beach Shredders. Guys, you heard about this? Was this an ownership change? James, what do you know about this change up here?
So I'm not too sure about ownership, but I believe it is both NHLers. I think one was drafted by the Ducks, and they're going to be taking over for the Long Beach Shredders.
I believe they're new owners. I was on their website a little bit earlier this morning, and the Edams are the new owners of the team. So
okay,
or the owners.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm guessing the Avalanche the Avalanche or Anaheim is no longer in existence.
Right. And so they're the Shredders now. It's a whole new identity for them. That should be fun to get used to talking about. We've moved them from Ontario to Anaheim and now down the road to Long Beach. But on that note, there's been some expansion teams joining the Pacific Division as well. And I mentioned Ontario. The Ontario Junior Reign are one of the new teams in the Pacific Division. Yeah,
and I'm not sure where that ownership is coming from, but it will be a familiar face running that program as Thomas Kapusta, who is well known down in the LA area. Even just, I didn't even say LA, just the whole Southern California region. As an excellent coach, a former NHLer, he used to run the San Diego Sabres. So now I'm guessing he's moving up the road to Ontario to run that program.
That was going to be my next question. Is he going to stay with the Sabres and do the Reign, or is he switching roles, teams?
I'm not exactly sure because I went on both teams' websites again this morning, and they both have him listed. So I don't know if he's. I don't know. To me, it would be kind of hard to run both teams because then there would be, favoritism or something that you're not doing one that you're doing for the other. So I'm guessing he's moving to Ontario. And it sounds like San Diego needs to find another person.
Yeah, well, he's already kind of established in the junior, like LA Kings junior system, right?
Correct.
Because I think he does like what, 18 or?
Yeah, he probably does a couple different teams actually.
Oh, okay.
But and then the new Ontario coach is going to be the former Las Vegas coach that was the Las Vegas coach for the last 2 years.
Dave.
Yeah, I can't say his last name, so I might be gonna butcher it.
Hirsky, I think it is.
That's probably close. He's been the coach for Vegas the last 2 years, so I imagine that Ontario, they're gonna have a pretty decent team, even though they're gonna be a new team with his coaching background and the players he had in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I'm really interested. I want to know if they're connected straight to the LA Kings or not, because obviously they're taking on the Reign logo, which is their AHL team. So I'm curious if there's going to be a connection there or what.
Yeah, there's got to be a connection there somewhere in terms of, and I know that, going way back, the Kings have been very emphatic in terms of youth hockey in the LA area being such an important part of what they kind of do, their identity as an organization, as a company. So I would imagine there's probably a connection there.
What would it have to be for licensing, right? I mean, just licensing alone.
Yeah. I'm guessing it's probably though going only as far as to the Ontario Reign, because they're using even though it's just like the Reign's logo is similar to the Kings former logo from the 90s, and the same color scheme and all that. So I'm guessing it's probably just going as far as to the Reign and using their colors. I'm guessing, obviously, with what they showed on the website. But other than that, I'm not too sure. maybe down the road after the program develops a little bit, there may be something, where the players get a tryout or something as they're aging out. But right now, I'm guessing it's probably just ending at the team colors and name.
Well, I'm kind of actually excited about it because it almost legitimizes what's happening here on the West Coast for the Premier Division. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that's such an important thing when when you're looking at things like recruiting. It's so important, even if it's just the perception of a upward mobility potential there. That's tremendously important.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is, as long as the franchises stay viable and strong, that's the best thing for this. We can't have them, leave and Ontario's been 10 years or whatever because they were in the Western States League, but like you can't have Long Beach leave in 2 years. You can't Lake Tahoe.
Right.
They have. It's only strengthened us as long as they continue to build a great franchise and get some longevity in the league. If they're just in and out every other year, every 2 years, or something, that's not, to me, in my opinion, that's not the greatest.
Yeah, that viability is going to be tremendously important too. We can't continue to have teams that, like we've seen both in the WSHL and now in USPHL, where teams are kind of closing up shop mid-season and things like that. That viability is important too. Brian, you mentioned Lake Tahoe as well. They are the other expansion team in the Pacific Division. The Lake Tahoe Lakers are going to be coming in as well. And what do we know about them so far?
Nothing. Again, when I was doing my research this morning, I was trying to hit all the new teams, and they're the only team right now without a website. So I got no idea what's going on.
And just so our viewers understand, we're all chuckling about it, but there is really this is something that we deal with. We try to research these things and bring them to you guys so everybody knows what's going on. But a lot of times, especially in the early stages of a situation like this, what we know is based on word of mouth and what they post on social media and on the web. So our hands are kind of tied sometimes too in terms of getting that information. But I mean, Lake Tahoe's a nice place to visit, and I'm sure that they'll have a nice hockey team to play against as well.
Well, if they get, go ahead, James. I'm sorry.
No, you're good, man. So I was just going to say real fast that I do know that the Lakers are owned by what's called the LTL ownership group, and they currently own the Charlotte Rush and the Charleston Colonials.
Wow.
Who are both the champions in the NCDC and the Premier. So they own both current champion teams.
Okay.
That's why
that's a game changer.
I'm interested in this team because we've seen Lake Tahoe pop up before with the Iceman and so on. So I think it was the Blue at one point.
Yeah.
And they always fold, like within 2 seasons, 3 seasons.
Correct.
But I'm interested because obviously this ownership group knows how to put a team together. So I'm interested to see if they can make it work in Lake Tahoe.
A lot of potential there for sure.
Yeah, 100%. They got, I always thought when I was coaching with the Monsters and we go to Lake Tahoe, how there wasn't more stuff, because literally that town's a gold mine. You go skiing during the day, and minus the casinos at night, which are 24/7, just like in Vegas and everywhere else. There's nothing else to do there, and you're not going to want to spend 6-7 hours at a casino at night for most people. So if they get their opportunity where they can maybe latch on to one of the ski resorts or casinos or something where they can get build a little bit of a fan base or advertising combination to help them draw, that would be it's kind of a little gold mine over there.
For sure. And, another thing that I wanted to talk about, because, it's that time of year when we start hearing about college commitments for guys and players moving on in their hockey, the progression of their hockey careers. Our old friend Peter Peter Filipov committed to Gustavus Adolphus. That's a Division III NC2A school up in, I believe, Minnesota. So that is great news for him. Excited to see, you know, a lot of us, and myself included, follow these former Monsters once they move on and see what they do beyond there. So best of luck to him.
Yeah, that's a
so go ahead, Brian. Sorry.
that's all right. That's a very good school. That's a real solid program up in Minnesota. We've also had a former Monster player in Michael Faby, who's also went to Adolphus a handful of years ago. He's out of the program by now, but you know, if we're getting those types of, that's, like I said, just a very good school and program to for kind of put a little notch in our belt for.
And Kala?
Yeah, we had some talks with Peter when we found out. My family talks to him pretty regularly, and he's really excited to be playing over there for sure.
That is great news. Great news for him. And Nikita Ruslanov committed to McKendree, which is a Division I school. Great program there. And they've got a little bit of a tradition of grabbing guys from out here. Some WSHL guys on their roster this past year. Connor Mullins from Valencia from a couple years back was playing there. You know, great opportunity for Nikita as well.
Yeah, that's an awesome deal for, especially for a what we consider an import player that comes and, you know, really hasn't established a whole lot of residency as far as for school prices. You know, that's going to be hopefully he's got a good deal worked out there. But that's good that we get an international player that's played for us as well. And I don't know much about McKendree, but just the fact that we're getting an international player into the program is that's big steps.
Yeah, that's great for recruiting. I mean, obviously it's nice to see our former players move on to the next level. And I mean, that kind of makes me circle back to these new teams that are being led by owners who own championship teams and NHLers. And I mean, let's face it, Lake Tahoe is a gorgeous lake. What are you guys' thoughts? Do you guys think this is going to impact Cody Key's chances of recruiting elite talent?
I think he needs to get while the getting's good, especially with the draw of the Reign being an AHL, you know, affiliate, maybe possibly. He's going to want to try to nab as many people off of that train. And then anybody that's looking at Tahoe, he's going to want to try to take a look at those. Those are going to be two big locations. I think that's going to be a big draw for anybody wanting to come out to the West Coast.
Yeah, you know, on the Avalanche, or not the Avalanche, the Ray. Damn, I'm gonna keep screwing that up for sure. But
wonder why? Is it because you're wearing their jerseys?
Well, that's maybe, I don't know. But on the Rain website, they were talking. I was on their little how-to or about us page in there. They said that they're going to focus mostly on the Southern California kids that don't want to leave home. They maybe ready to go play college, but need a little bit of seasoning in juniors. But that, you know, so which they've always been pretty good at keeping local talent down there in the past. So I imagine it's going to be along those same lines. But other than being, you know, being a first-time franchise or a new franchise like Lake Tahoe and Long Beach and those guys, to me, it takes a special player to go and want to be the first one to be on the team and do special things that you only get as a first time as a player. Some guys are just want to go for the win and go for the championship and, you know, don't care to do anything else. But, you know, if you get that right special group of guys that are players that enjoy accomplishing first things, Tahoe, Long Beach, they're going to be viable franchises and they're going to be good. And I'm sure with, you know, the Edams and Long Beach being a former pro, he's going to have a wide array of contacts that he can talk to get players. So I imagine they're going to be pretty decent right off of the start.
Yeah, I'm expecting that all three of these teams are going to be powerhouses right out the gate and compete with the Monsters for not only for on the recruiting side of things, but once we drop the puck, I really think that when you've got a situation where you've got former NHLers, if you're still involved in the game after your playing days and you're still involved at this kind of level, you're not just there because it's a toy. You're there because it is, something that you're wanting to give back to youth hockey and things like that. And you're going to put your all into it, just like they did preparing for a game. That's how they're going to be preparing for these seasons. So I don't see this as a situation where, sometimes you've had teams in the league where they have a hockey team because they have a hockey program, and so they have to put the kids somewhere. I don't see this as any of these three. I look at them as three new teams, essentially, and I don't see any of them as being teams that are going to be shorting themselves in terms of their commitment when they're putting the team together that's going to take the ice. And that is a prospect where Kala, I think you nailed it. Cody Key's got to get while the getting's good. We've got to get out there and start talking to players. And I'm sure all of this has already begun. I think a lot of those phone calls and those things take place before the season even ends. But it's something where, as much fantastic attention as the Monsters have traditionally paid to recruiting and bringing in amazing talent, you're just going to have to continue to step it up this coming season, because now there's competition, essentially, or even more competition than there was before. So it's going to be tremendously important.
Yeah, honestly, I'm actually kind of excited, dude, because let's face it, the competition on the West Coast has not been great so far. It always comes down to the Monsters and whoever their rival is that season. And it seems like they're the only two teams that play all the time. And to see three new teams that have huge potential to be like powerhouses in the West, to be honest, I'm excited about it.
100%. I was talking with Darren last night, and we were talking about the same prospect, James, like you were just saying about being three more quality teams. And I think if, the staff here for the Monsters can focus their thing, of course, we talked about them having the bad discipline penalty situation, but if they could shore up their defense, as far as I'm concerned about limiting teams to, 4 or 5 goals a weekend rather than 4 or 5 goals a game, I think makes a big difference. And I believe that's kind of a little bit why we struggled in nationals, is because those teams didn't quit back there. They're used to playing hard games and every weekend. And here for us, it was, we play hard games for a period or a period and a half, and then the other team would quit on us, and then we build a bunch of bad habits. So I think with these new teams, and like I said, the Las Vegas coach coming to Ontario is going to add, they're going to be good right off the start, because Vegas was good right off the start, right? And then, like I said, Edom, with his vast knowledge, I'm sure that he's going to have a good set of players. And James, like you said, if they got those other two teams out on the East Coast and they're the same ownership group, I'm sure that they're going to find their handful of good players as well. So, it should be really good for the Monsters as far as competition goes.
That, to me,
I think we can also
James,
take this into another situation and look at it from a different perspective, is use these three new teams in marketing to help build the fan base throughout the whole league and get more people involved. And that way we don't fall into these teams that they couldn't generate enough revenue to keep the teams there, for whatever reason. And now that these three new teams, if they're as good as we think and hope that they're going to be, and make it a competitive league out here, we can use that in the marketing aspect of it all and bring a bigger crowds to sell in, even the gateway to their own ranks. I mean, I know that Tahoe's rink, where if they're going to be playing at the one rink that they have, there's not very much seating in there. However, you can still pack people in there. And in this all case, this all goes towards, how COVID's going to react in Nevada as well. and what they're going to allow people, or not Nevada, but up in Tahoe and down south, how all that's going to play out. But I mean, we could do a lot more with these 3 new teams, that we can market it right, and hopefully they pan out to be really strong teams, and then the whole league can blow up.
Oh yeah, 100%. You know, maybe we could do like a travel package or something where, you know, you go to Tahoe for the weekend and catch a couple of games, or Long Beach or something along those times, and build a little bit of a rivalry type thing where it just, like you said, it's going to draw more interest.
Be an interesting season to come for sure, and I know we're going to continue to follow it here on Monster Vision and you know, everywhere else that that we can. Guys, thank you so much for taking some time to chat today, and we've got a special treat for folks. Kala Mullaney recently sat down with former Fresno Monster Chase Sisk. We're going to go to that interview right now.
Hey guys, just want to let you know this is Kala Mullaney with the Fresno Monsters podcast looking thing, the Monster Vision. I got a special guest here, probably one of the more well-known Fresno Monsters alumni from 2009, 2013. Played all 4 years of his junior career with us. I don't know what else to say about him. I don't know if you guys can recognize this guy.
What's up, guys?
This is Chase Sisk.
How are you?
Probably one of the more crowd favorites, I would think.
I hope.
Over 200 penalty minutes.
Yes.
I don't know, were they like tripping calls? Is that what
Yeah,
they were
a lot
called?
of fighting.
A lot of fighting.
It's a horrible thing.
A horrible thing, but it was those were fun to watch. Definitely brought the crowd in. I think you also hold the record for the highest paid jersey.
Yes, I do.
Almost $2,000.
Yep.
Something
like that.
Something like that. So, how you been? What you been up to?
Pretty good. Just coaching college hockey back home in Illinois. A lot of work. This normal life stuff's not usual, but I still got to incorporate some hockey in there somewhere. But just enjoying life. That's about it. Not too terribly much. Just out here visiting, catching up with some old friends and stuff like that. But that's about it.
Right on. So after you left Fresno, what did you do as far as your hockey career?
My hockey career, I played, a few games here and there in the Southern Pro League. A lot of training camps, and then ended up having to end my career just due to concussions, and tried and doing the smart thing and think with my head, and that way I can enjoy life without concussions, and just that's about it. Just coaching.
So you're well known for your fighting.
Yes.
And in the new league that we have now, the USPHL, fighting is greatly frowned upon. Basically, it's a game suspension automatically when you fight.
Okay.
How do you feel that is compared to the rest of hockey, as far as, do you think that hockey is, obviously they're trying to get away from the fighting and everything, but do you still think it's one of those integral parts of the game?
Oh, it's definitely a major, it's really important in the game, I think. It's always a sense of security for the high skilled players, and it's obviously it's fun to do and fun to watch, but it definitely lets the more skilled players have a lot more security on the ice when someone's out there. If, you don't want someone going after your more skilled guys and then having to deal with the repercussions. But I definitely notice a lot more in hockey nowadays that fighting they're very frowned upon, whether it being in juniors or the higher leagues. But as a former enforcer or someone that likes to protect my teammates, it's very important just for the fact that you can be safe on the bench, you can be safe on the ice, and definitely a game changer and,
for sure.
And definitely momentum wise. I know that got a lot of the guys going when you go out there and chuck mitts for 5-minute penalty, and there was no shame in it. I actually really enjoyed it, but more or less for my teammates' protection. I didn't want anybody touching my goalie or touching my high skilled guy and then be eating my fist. But
that's right.
That's the way I see it. I wish it was heavily endorsed, I think, because most people go to a hockey game to see a hockey fight. That's
right.
What everybody always says.
You go to NASCAR racing and you want to see an
wreck.
action.
Yeah. I mean, it's not necessarily just because we hate each other. It's part of the game, and there's a role, and everybody has it. And if you don't play it, you can be gone the next day. I mean, I absolutely love doing it, but Do I do it off the ice? Not really. No, it was just a sense of protection for players. So that's how I feel about it.
And and I think a lot of things, transitions that people have this misconception about the enforcers is that they're this way off the ice. And firsthand, I know knowledge that you are nowhere near.
No, I'm a
that
lover,
type of
not a
person.
fighter.
You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. I think that you were so well liked on the ice as being the enforcer. However, I think you won a lot more hearts off the ice. You were great with the kids.
Yes.
You went to the schools. You did a lot of great
stuff.
things and told the kids, hey, stay in school, get good grades.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we were talking earlier, and you said the exact same thing.
Yes,
You're coaching college now,
Yeah,
so you got to get into those colleges,
Yes,
right?
Yeah, it's important. I mean, you don't have something to make you tick in life, then what's worth living for? I mean, school is important. Obviously, I never went to school, but I see nowadays and have to deal with a lot of collegiate stuff. And if you don't have a good GPA or if you don't have a good score, I can't look at you. I can't take you, even though you're a hardworking kid. But that's why it's important. So.
Right. School does matter, kids. It does matter.
It does.
Don't end up like us.
Yes,
You're doing
yes,
podcasts. All right, Chess Brother, I will let you go. I think we have dinner cooking,
Yes,
and
yes.
we have
Good
other
dinner.
things to do. So, once again, Chase Sisk, number 20, with the Fresno Monsters back in the day.
Yes.
Thanks a lot, Chase Brother.
No problem.
Appreciate the time.
Anytime.
There you go, boys. Blast from the past. Talk to you later.
And Kala, thank you so much for sitting down with Chase. That was great to catch up with him.
Oh yeah, no, it was a blast. A friend of ours that he came up to visit. He called me and said, "Hey, guess who's coming to town?" And I kind of figured it out. And he's all, "Yeah, you might want to come up." So I came up there and I saw him. And let me tell you, that guy, he was big when he was here. He's big now, and he's still probably one of my favorite Monster players. The guy is definitely down to earth. He's a great guy. Always has been. I'm glad that I was a lot older than he is, and I wasn't into hockey as back then, because I'll tell you what, that is one guy I do not want to have to run into on the ice for any reason.
For sure. Guys, I think that pretty much closes it out for this edition of Monster Vision. Anything that you guys have last minute thoughts to share, things to plug, anything going on in your respective worlds there this week?
I got one thing. Coming in September, the weekend of September 18th, 19th, the Fresno Falcons Alumni Association, and along with the Fresno Monsters and the Fresno Junior Hockey Club, are going to do the Hall of Fame ceremonies and golf tournament that weekend. So if you guys are interested, they're starting to put the details together, but that's the definite weekend. So if you're interested, mark that on your calendar.
Absolutely. Super important date to set aside for folks. And yeah, we will be bringing lots more information on that in the weeks and months to come, as well as we'll be having some Falcons content coming up during this off season, catching up with a couple guys that from years gone by. James, Brian, Kala, thank you guys so much for taking the time this afternoon. And we will catch you on the next edition of Monster Vision. Everybody, be sure to like, follow, and share on social media in all your favorite Fresno Monsters spaces online. We thank you so much for the continued support, and we will be back with you soon. Thanks so much, and have a good one.